Hello everybody, it's me, True Blue here, and I'm bringing you a new type of video here today, and I'm going to be calling it League of Legends Champion Overview. Pretty much just going to go through in-game what the Champions Overview is. If you don't know, obviously for League of Legends, if you don't know in League of Legends, there's a whole champion selection. I will not be doing this for every champion, but basically every new champion, and if there's any champions you guys want to see, then I'll go ahead and do that. There's a whole list here, you guys can go ahead Google it if you want. Check out any champions you guys would want me to overview and talk about, and I'll talk about my pros and cons of each champion, what I like, what I dislike about it. But today, since Braum recently came out yesterday, May 12th, 2014, I decided I'll just talk about him. Braum, the heart of Freljord. He's, of course, attack stat not very good. Defense is his best thing. Ability power not even better, but he doesn't have any scalings. I think he has one AP scaling, but his ultimate is that. And difficulty pretty semi-hard, but not that bad, because you gotta know how to support. Attributes: he's support mainly, and secondary a tank. He can jungle and support. In my knowing experience, I've seen people jungle and support. I've seen Red Mercy mid, didn't really work too well. I've seen someone top lane him, didn't really work too well either. Obviously, he can't AD carry, because, well, I mean, he could. Saw Wolf. He's one skin currently. He might get more in the future because there's probably tons and tons of ideas. But his two normal. He has a classic skin, of course, which is very nice. Actually, it looks really nice. The splash art is really nice, and the load screen art is really nice. And in game, it looks extremely good. As you can see, he has a shield. He is a man of a shield. He has big pecs, and I guess that's a nipple. But he has lots of tattoos. Very cool, and a mustached man. And then obviously Dragon Slayer Braum, very indeed cool, pretty much the opposite of what Ice would be. Very, very nice. If I will link two videos in the description of champion spotlights, skin spotlights for Braum and Dragon Slayer Braum for those who want to see it, because I will not be able to showcase it because I don't have the money to buy them both. I don't even have the money to buy Braum because currently, based on Riot points, he is currently priced at 975 Riot points, as every new champion is, or 7,800 IP points, which you gain by playing games. Not every champion is 7,800, but they're only like this for 1 week because people want to Riot wants them to spend IP and have tons of IPs to be more encouraged to just buy with RP instead of having to play. So that's how Riot makes money. So moving on to his abilities. Obviously has 4 abilities and a passive, unlike most champions. Well, like most champions, almost every champion has 4 abilities that do something. So, onto his passive, Concussive Blows. Braum adds stacks of concussive blows to enemies with basic attacks or Winter's Bite. He and his allies continue to add stacks of basic attacks. At 4 stacks, their target will be stunned. Very cool. As you can see, 4 stacks on 1 target will be stunned. It doesn't say in the video, but these stacks do not last for the whole game, and there is a slight delay. There's like a good 10-second timer in between the amount of time you can do it, so you can't just be spamming basic attacks. So building max attack speed is pretty good, actually. It has been tried before. It's really good. Max attack speed, 2.5 attack speed on Braum. It is really good, but you have a 10-second delay in between each stun, so it's not completely overpowered. Still very strong, and obviously allies can work with it too. So all Braum has to do is flash in, get a Q, get his Winter's Bite or a basic attack on, and basically range AD carry or any teammate just does the rest of the work. And obviously, sorry, I'm really sick right now, but doing this video because I love you guys. Obviously, moves such as Ezreal's Q on hit that add on hit effects do as well work with Braum's passive, so that's very good. Ezreal's probably going to be one of the biggest picks with Braum because of this, so that's definitely look forward to. Now onto his Q, Winter's Bite. Braum propels freezing ice from his shield, slowing and dealing magic damage. Applies a stack of concussive blows. Wrecked. Very cool. It's not. It's his only damaging ability besides his ultimate, but it's his main poke, and it adds a stack of concussive blows. So it's a really good way to poke enemies in lane. You just throw a Q out and have your AD carry, Ezreal, any AD carry just start like auto attacking that champion, and it does magic damage, and it'll stun them, and it slows. So it's a very good move for either running away or chasing. So very good. It does have a really short cast time, something like Vel'Koz's Q. So for those of you know what that is, there you go. Now next to his W, stand behind me. Braum leaps to a target allied champion or minion. On arrival, Braum and the ally gain armor and magic resist for a few seconds. This is a very cool spell. Obviously, for you, those of you Koreans out there, you're gonna be freaking playing Braum a lot. Um, Something I forgot to mention, if you look closely at the video, you can see Braum's in-game normal skin. You can't see his Dragon Slayer skin because I'm not able to show that. I don't think it shows that in this. But it might have shown that for his Winter's Wipe, but it did not show it for Stand Behind Me. This spell is very cool because it can intercept things such as Caitlyn ultimates. It can intercept things such as things that don't pass through multiple champions, things that only go through one champion. And this spell works exceptionally well with his E, and it's such a good ability because first of all it gives armor and magic resist, so it works in the jungle too because it gives you more defenses, so you can like be able to clear faster, not faster but clear with more health because you're taking less damage. And it's an easy way to kite around maybe with your teammates, your minions. I almost said emails, with your minions, and it's a very good skill all around. But this isn't even his best skill. I gotta admit, his E is most likely his best skill. Something like Yasuo's Wind Wall, but better, in my opinion. Unbreakable. Braum raises his shield in a direction for several seconds, intercepting all projectiles, causing them to hit him and be destroyed. He negates the damage of the first attack completely and reduces the damage of all subsequent attacks from this direction. So as you saw there, the first, if you were paying very close attention, you can see on Caitlyn's first attack it said minus 131. That took off all the damage that her Q did. Her Q, so quick bias on Caitlyn's Q. Caitlyn's Q shoots a long-ranged missile, I guess you could say. Not really missile, but it's just a long-ranged shot that goes through multiple champions, and it does less damage the more champions it goes do. But obviously, it won't do any damage if it hits Braum's Unbreakable. First spell or attack that hits him will do no damage. So I was thinking about this, and an easy counterplay to this, I was thinking of cast a low mana spell or basic attack. I'm pretty sure basic attacks do work on this. So cast a low mana spell or basic attack so you can break that and have your teammates use the more damaging spells on him, or you could just wait this out because using any spells on this isn't even worth it because it does a lot less damage, and Braum already has tons of health, tons of armor and magic resist, and it won't be worth just wasting one spell because he'll just regen it back with passive regen, and it really won't matter that much because Braum's gonna be in there mainly possibly dead because he is a tank, and that's mainly a tank's job, to get in there, disturb somebody, and just do damage and tank for your teammates and peel. So like I said, obviously really cool, and it can indeed, just as long as you were pointing towards, I'm fairly sure, right, Freak, you said this, you told me this, as long as the shield is pointing towards where the damage is coming from, who casts a spell, it will work on area of effect things, but the CC will still go through. So, say you get hit with a Cho'Gath knockup, you'll still be knocked up, but you won't take any damage. So you can intercept an Ash arrow, it will not do any damage, but it will still stun you. So, while it's not the best skill ever, there still are. There's no best skill in League of Legends, but this is probably one of the best skills. So, onto his ultimate, Glacial Fissure. Braum slams the ground, knocking up nearby enemies and a line in front of him. A fissure is left along the line that slows enemies. as you saw there, oh, I forgot I could do that. Fail. As you saw there, Volibear was knocked up much higher. Remember this. That too. I want you to remember that. Vayne is slow. This is slows work, obviously. Now, I said Volibear was knocked up much higher than Morgana and than Lysandra and Sejuani were. The reason for this is lots of things are missed out on this. This is why I don't really think this is a good idea to do, but I'm gonna do it anyways because why not? It's something not a lot of I don't think any YouTuber does. So I was thinking maybe someone wants to see this. Maybe someone wants to see all of this in one thing instead of different videos for like skins and what he does and his abilities and his lore. I just hit my printer. Oops. But basically, Glacial Fissure slams into the ground near him and in a line forward. So it's an AOE and a skill shot nuke in a way. So you throw it out and he jumps up, slams on the ground, and throws out in a line forward. So enemies that are hit by the initial impact of Braum slamming into the ground are knocked up much higher than anyone else hit by it. And if no one is right next to him to get hit by the initial impact, the first enemy knocked up by the fissure gets knocked up the most. So those are some key things to work. This does not add a stack of concussive blows. This only slows and does damage. But like I said, this is very good engage and disengage tool. And now on to his tips. I'll be doing the lore last because that is longest. Now, I would normally go through this, but this will just add like probably another 5, maybe even 6 minutes to the video. So I'm just gonna read the tips, and I'll maybe if you guys have me do more of these videos with other champions that you want, I will go ahead and do that and read the tips out. But that's if you guys really want to, because some of the champions tips aren't that much. Some are, such as Braum. Braum is 3 for each. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Playing as Braum. Tip 1. Work with your allies to stack concussive blows. Encourage them to basic attack mark targets. So have your Ezreal teammates attack people that you've stacked with concussive blows, because then we're dealing more magic damage and stunning them for a good engage. Tip 2. Leap in front of squishy friends and shield them from projectiles with Unbreakable. That's the key combo with Braum. You stand behind me onto a nearby ally is taking damage and use Unbreakable towards the damage so that they cannot do damage. So enemies can't hurt your teammates and allies. Tip 3. Glacial Fissure leaves a powerful slow zone. Position it well to split teamfights and slow the enemy approach. This is when I really wish I had Braum, because I could show off a very good example of this by using, you can use your ultimate in the narrow pathways, narrow corridors of the jungle, and basically zone off the enemies from chasing you, because they'll just get slowed immensely by following you and they won't be able to chase you, so they'll have to turn back. Playing against Braum, unless it's Yi. Playing against Brahms. Tip 1. Braum must land Winter's Bite or a basic attack to start concussive blows. If you get marked, exit combat range before getting hit 3 more times to avoid the stun. Tip 2. Playing against Braum. Braum's ultimate has a long cast time. Use that extra time to dodge. Walking over the frozen ground left behind will slow you. Position so you don't need to cross it. Tip 3. Unbreakable gives Braum extremely strong directional defense. Either wait until he's down or outposition ability. For those of you aspiring Braum players, I like to do this with all champs I like to play. I like to look at the tips that Riot have said for playing against Braum and find a way to get around it. Cast time is something that is important, but getting a team that can help zone your enemies into the ultimate will work well. Like getting a Vayne to be able to push the enemies into your ultimate will be very key. So I think Vayne will be a really good pick with Braum. So onto the lore. There are three different voices for this. Lore, the narrator, a grandma, and a little girl. Sadly, I won't be doing voice acting because in my first take of this video, my voice acting was terrible, so I'm not gonna do it. So I'll just read it normally. Would you like a bedtime story? Grandma, I'm too old for that. You're never told to be told a story. The girl reluctantly crawls into bed and waits, knowing she won't win this battle. A bitter wind howls outside, whipping falling snow into devil whirls. What kind? A tale of the ice witch, perhaps? Her grandmother asks. No, not her. What about a story of Braum? She was met with silence. The old woman smiles. Oh, there are so many. My grandmother used to tell me all the time, Braum protected our village from the great dragon, or once, this was long ago, he raced down a river of lava. Or, She pauses, puts a finger to her lips. Have I told you how Braum got his shield? The girl shakes her head. The hearth fire snaps, holding off the wind. Well, in the mountains above our village lived a man named Braum. I know that. He mostly kept to his farm, tending his sheep and goats, but he was the kindest man anyone had ever met, and he always had a smile on his face and a laugh on his lips. Now one day something terrible happened. A young troll boy around your age was climbing the mountain and happened upon a vault set into the mountainside, the entrance guarded by a huge stone door with a shroud of true ice at its center. When he opened the door, he couldn't believe his eyes. The vault was filled with gold, jewels, every kind of treasure you could imagine. What he didn't know was that the vault was a trap. The ice witch had cursed it, and as the troll boy entered, the magical door clanged shut behind him and locked him inside. Try as he might, he couldn't get out. A passing shepherd, oh god, I've been watching too much Grey's Anatomy. A passing shepherd heard his cries. Everyone rushed to help, but even the strongest warriors couldn't open the door. The boy's parents were beside themselves. His mother's wails of grief echoed around the mountain. It seemed hopeless, and to everyone's surprise, they heard a distant laugh. That was terrible. It was Braum, wasn't it? Aren't you clever? Braum had heard their cries and came striding down the mountainside. The villagers told him the troll boy and the curse. Braum smiled, nodded, turned to the vault, and faced the door. He pushed it, pulled it, punched it, kicked it, tried to rip it off from the hinges, but the door wouldn't budge. But he's the strongest man ever. It was perplexing, her grandmother agrees. For 4 days and nights, Braum sat on a boulder, trying to think of a solution. After all, a child's life was at stake. Then, as the sun rose on the 5th day, his eyes widened, and a broad grin lit up on his face. If I can't go through the door, he said, then I'll just have to go through. The girl thinks, her own eyes widen. The mountain! The mountain. Braum headed to the summit and began punching his way down, pummeling into the stone, fist after fist, rocks flying in his wake, until he had vanished deep into the mountain. As the villagers held their breath, the rock around the door crumbled, and when the dust cleared, they saw Braum standing amidst the treasure, the weak but happy troll boy in his arms. I knew he could do it. Before they could celebrate, everything began to rumble and shake. Brahm's tunnel had weakened the mountaintop and now was caving in. Thinking quickly, Brahm grabbed an enchanted door and held it above him like a shield, protecting them as the mountaintop collapsing all around him. When it was over, Brahm was amazed. There wasn't a single scratch on the door. Brahm knew it was something very special. And from that moment on, the magical shield never left Brahm's side. The girl sitting upright, struggling, that says like struggling. Okay. Struggling to conceal her excitement, her grandmother waits. She shrugs and gets up to leave. Grandma, the girl stops her. Can you tell me another? Tomorrow, her grandmother smiles, kisses her forehead, blows out the candle. For you need to sleep, and there are many more stories to tell. That means there's gonna be more champions. Just kidding. It means that there's actually more Braum stuff. So in the description, for those of you who are enjoyed, Riot has recently released a sort of interactive mini game that's like maybe 2 to 3 minutes long. At if you do it fast, 2 to 5 minutes long. Really, it's just took me like 2 minutes to do it, but it's pretty worth checking out. Some pretty cool sound effects, pretty cool voice effects, and obviously it doesn't it's not gonna freeze. It just has you clicking something. So that today, guys, has been Braum, and for those of you who don't really care. The whole purpose of me doing this series is I want you guys to get a feel of the game. I want you guys to know what's in the game, who's in the game, because obviously since I'll be playing League on my channel mainly, I want you guys to know most of the champions. So when I mention them, you won't be like, "What? Huh? I don't get it. What is he talking about? What joke? Huh? 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 I don't know what Caitlyn's Q is." That's why I'm doing this series. I want you guys to be informed. So when I do League of Legends commentaries, everyone will know what I'm talking about. And everyone, look at those muscular boobs. This has been True Blue, and I'll see you guys later. Just look at them. They even have tattoos on them. Ah.